What if the most powerful being in the jungle never felt the need to prove it? Today, we bring you a story about true strength, silent courage, and a lesson that changed an entire jungle forever. This is The Silent Lion and the Laughing Hyena. Deep inside a vast and ancient jungle, there lived a lion named Leo. Now, Leo was no ordinary lion. He was large, strong, and carried himself with a quiet dignity that most animals had never seen before. He never roared without reason. He never fought to show off his power. He never felt the need to remind anyone that he was a lion. While other animals rushed to mark their territory, to argue, to compete, Leo simply lived, peacefully, purposefully, silently. And for some animals in the jungle, that silence was very hard to understand. Not far from where Leo rested lived a hyena named Rico. Rico was loud. Rico was restless. And Rico loved one thing above all else: making fun of Leo. Every single day, Rico would strut through the jungle with a wide grin and shout for all to hear. "Look at this lion! He calls himself a king! But have you ever seen him roar? Have you ever seen him fight? He's not strong. He's scared." And the monkeys laughed. The foxes whispered behind bushes. Day by day, week by week, more and more animals started believing Rico's words. "Maybe the lion is weak," they said. "Maybe he just pretends to be powerful." But Leo heard every word, and Leo remained silent. Then one evening, everything changed. Dark clouds rolled in from the mountains, thick, heavy, and angry. Within minutes, a violent storm tore through the jungle. Rain poured down like it had forgotten how to stop. The river, the one that once flowed peacefully near the animals' homes, began to rise, higher and higher and higher still, until it was no longer a river. It was a raging flood. The animals scrambled for higher ground, fear spreading through the jungle like wildfire. And then they heard a sound that made every heart stop. The young baby elephant, barely old enough to understand danger, had slipped near the muddy riverbank, and in one terrible moment, she fell into the raging river. The current grabbed her immediately, pulling her downstream. The mother elephant screamed. The monkeys shrieked from the trees. The deer stood frozen in fear. Every animal looked at each other, waiting for someone, anyone, to act. And Rico? Rico, the one who laughed every day, the one who mocked Leo's silence, the one who called the lion weak and scared, stood completely frozen at the edge of the riverbank. Because laughter is easy. But courage? Courage is something else entirely. And then, without a single word, Leo moved. No announcement, no hesitation, no roar. He simply leapt into the raging river. The current slammed into him like a wall, powerful, relentless, furious. But Leo did not stop. He pushed through wave after wave, his muscles burning, his body fighting against everything the storm threw at him. The animals watched from the shore, breathless. Some were crying, some were praying. All of them silent. For what felt like forever, Leo battled the river. And then they saw it. Leo, exhausted, soaking wet, emerged from the water. And in his arms, the baby elephant. Safe, alive, breathing. The mother rushed forward, wrapping her trunk around her child, tears and rain mixing together. And Leo simply walked back and sat down quietly, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. The entire jungle stood still. No one laughed. No one whispered. Even the rain seemed to pause. And slowly, one pair of eyes turned toward the ground. Rico, the hyena who had mocked Leo every day, who had called him weak, who had made the whole jungle doubt him, lowered his head in shame. Because in that moment, he finally understood what real strength looked like. It didn't boast. It didn't perform. It didn't need an audience. It simply showed up when someone needed it most. Leo looked out at the animals gathered around him, shivering, grateful, humbled. And in his calm, unhurried voice, he said, "True strength does not shout every day. It appears when someone truly needs it." That night, as the storm cleared and the stars slowly appeared above the jungle, every animal carried those words home with them. And Rico? From that day forward, he was never heard mocking anyone again, because he had learned, the hard way, that the loudest voice in the room is rarely the strongest. Real strength is quiet. Real courage speaks through actions, not words. And the most powerful people you will ever meet are often the ones you almost overlooked, because they never felt the need to prove themselves to you. So the next time you feel the urge to shout your strength,